Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to today's class. So we will be looking at question paper solving, question 2B from mathematics part 1. Okay. And which are the topics that we are going to cover? So the chapter number 4, ratio and proportion, fifth one, linear equation in two variables, then financial planning and statistics. These are the four chapters which we will be looking at, and the special questions will be for question number 2B. All right. So that's the first question. Find the mean proportional to. Now this question is from the chapter ratio and proportion. All right. So here we are asked to find the mean proportion. The formula for that is b squared equals to ac. We know when the ratios are in geometric mean, we use this relationship, right? So here we are given a and b, a and c. So this part, this complete ratio or fraction is a, this complete ratio is c, and we have to find b. Okay, so we have to find b in this case. And how do we begin? Just multiply AC, correct? And what is B? B equals to square root of AC. Fine, because we get rid of this square, so that would be square root on the other side. So the first step is to multiply A and C. So the solution, multiplying A and C, that is AC is equals to x plus y upon x minus y times x squared minus y squared upon x squared y squared. Okay, now whenever we are multiplying rational functions, or whenever we are multiplying fractions like this, what are we going to do? We start with factoring. All right, so we can factor this part. So we know the identity a squared minus b squared equals to a plus b times a minus b, correct? So we write the first fraction as it is, x plus y upon x minus y as it is, and multiplied it uh, with the factors, that is x plus y and x minus y, the whole upon x squared y squared. All right, and then we know we can cross out the like factors or the common factors. So we can see x minus y is here and x minus y is here as well. So we can cross out these two common factors. What are we left with? We are left with x plus y and x plus y, that will become x plus y the whole squared upon x squared y squared. Okay, so this is AC. All right, and we need to find b. So how do we find b? This is AC, or we can also say this is b squared, isn't it? This is b squared. So we know b squared equals to AC, which is equals to, in this case, x plus y the whole squared upon x squared y squared. And we have to find b. For that, what are we going to do? We take square root on the other side. So square root of x plus y the whole squared upon x squared y squared, right? Now we know square root and the squares, they cancel out, correct? So that will give us b equals to, the top square will get, the square and square root will cancel out, so we are left with just x plus y on the numerator, and in the denominator again you see there is a square on x and y both. So again it will be just a x and a y, because square root and square will get crossed out. So square root of x square is x, square root of y square is y, like that. This gives us the solution x plus y upon xy. That completes this question. Let's move to next question. Yes, now again this is a question from ratio and proportion. If a upon b equals to 2 upon 3, then we are asked to find value of 4a plus 3b upon 3b. For this one, we have to look at the operations on ratios, that is componendo, dividendo. You need to know those operations. All right. If you look at this fraction carefully, first thing you should notice is what are the coefficients of a and b. Okay, so we are given that a upon b equals to 2 upon 3, and we see there is the number 4 with a and 3 with b. So we need 4 with a and 3 with b. That means we have to multiply both the sides by the fraction 3 by 4. So we need to write it out. What are we doing? We are multiplying both the sides by 4 upon 3. Okay, so multiplying both the sides by 4 upon 3, what do we get? Equals to 2 upon 3 times 4 upon 3. All right, so that will be 4a upon 3b. When we multiply fractions, we multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator, correct? So that will give us 2 times 4, that is 8, upon 3 times 3, that is 9. All right, and again look at the question, what are we asked to find? So it is numerator plus denominator upon the denominator, numerator plus denominator upon the denominator. Which rule is this? This is componendo, right? So applying componendo, what do we get? I just request everyone to go ahead and give it a try. We are applying componendo, so what will be the answer? So applying componendo, that will be 4a plus 3b upon 4 upon 3b, which will be equal to 8 plus 9 upon 9, right? We are adding the numerator and denominator to get the top, and denominator stays same for the bottom. All right, and now just simplify to get the answer. So just adding the numerator, we get 9 plus 8, that is 17. So 17 upon 9, that is the answer. So remember the operations over here. This was componendo. Okay, we move to next question. Question number 3. This is a very important question from the chapter linear equation in two variables. Okay, so we are asked to find the value of x minus y given two equations. So we label the equations 1 and 2, that's equation 1 and equation 2. We are asked to find what are the values, find the value of x minus y. Okay, that means we want a negative value of y. So concentrate on the equations. We want a negative y. Okay, so how can we get a negative y? If we add, are we going to get negative y? No. Correct. So that will be like 25y. That won't help us. So should we do 13 minus 12y, or should we do 12y minus 13y? Means what are we trying to check? If even if we subtract, do we get a negative y? Just check, do we get a negative y? No, because sign of greater number, it's positive, so we won't get. So what is the logic? We want the greater number to be negative. All right, we want the greater number to be negative. The greater number over here is 13y. So for that, we multiply the first equation by minus 1. So that is the trick. You just need to understand which operation is to be done. Okay, which operation. And second thing, you need to know the signs. Here we want x minus y. That means the y term with a greater value should be negative. So we multiply minus 1 to the first equation because the first equation has a greater y value. All right. So the step we write should be like this: multiplying equation 1 by minus 1. What do we get? That will be minus 12x minus 13y equals to minus 29. This is equation 3. And now we can just check equation 1 and equation 2 and equation 3. So adding equation 2 and 3 will give us a negative y. So the next step is adding equation 2 and 3. All right, so that will be 13x plus 12y equals to 21, and minus 12x minus 13y equals to minus 29. Now let's simplify this. So this will turn out to be x. 12y minus 13y will be minus y equals to how much? That will be a negative 8. So that gives us the answer, that is x minus y is equal to negative 8. So what is the answer here? That's negative 8. Okay, easy question. You just need to identify the correct steps. Okay, now we move to question number 4. Write any two linear equations using variables x and y. This is an open-ended question. So for it will be a different answer for different students. Okay, fine. So write two linear equations. We have to write two linear equations using the variables x and y. Now I'll tell you the simplest way how to do this. You can put anything on the left hand side. Like we need to use x and y. The first thing is we need to use x and y. Now it is up to you what operation you want. You can add the variables. You can either subtract the variables, right? Or you can put some coefficients to x, like 2x. You can put 3y, or maybe you can put 5x and 3y, or you can put, you know, nothing over for x and just a 7 for y. So it is completely up to you how you want to get the equations. Okay, but um like what will be the value, correct, what will be the value on the right hand side? So to get the value on right hand side, you need to assign simple values. Okay, so let us do one thing. I will just, instead of showing two linear equations, I'm going to show you four linear equations. All right, so just for your understanding, we can start with any, you know, just one and one with the coefficient. So adding them, what do we get? Like subtracting them, what do we get? Then let us take simple ones like 2x plus 3y equals to something, or maybe 5x plus just a y equals to what? Okay, so you need to take some random value, a simple point you can consider. Let's say I wish to take the numbers 2 comma 3. Okay, or maybe 3 comma 2. All right, so any number you can take, it is up to you. Now for the first one, it's x plus y, that means adding both of them. So x plus y will be 3 plus 2, that will equal to 5, correct? So here the first equation will be x plus y equals to 5. Okay, now the second equation is x minus y equals to what? So we have x is 3 and y is 2. So 3 minus 2, that is equal to 1. So here is, that is equal to 1. This is your second equation. So once again, I'll quickly repeat what I said. You can put anything on the left hand side, and you need to select any random point. Okay, this is any random point, and then substitute the values and try to get the right hand side. Okay, so first thing, you can take anything on the LHS, then you can take any random point, and then you need to substitute the values of that points and get right hand side. Okay, this is how you need to proceed. Okay, now let us look at the third equation, how to get this one. So it's 2x plus 3y. So 2x plus 3y equals to what? Fine, now we have x equals to 3 and y equals to 2. So x is 3 and y is 2, correct? And we are just substituting the values and solving. So 2 times 3 is what? 6, plus 3 times 2 is what? 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12. That gives us this third equation. Okay, students, easy. You can put anything on the left hand side. Likewise, let us find the solution for this one, 5x plus y. So 5x plus y is again, we need to substitute y equals to what? So x over here is 3, y is 2. So x is 3, y is 2. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2, that is equal to 17. So we put 17 over here, that gives us the fourth equation. All right, so this is easy. You just need to select any random left hand side, then select any random point, substitute the values of x and y, and get the RHS. That gives you equation. Okay, you can find infinite number of equations with a given variable. Okay, let us move to next question now. Question number 5. Mr. Kulkarni, with the age 60 years, has taxable income of 4,80,000. will he have to pay income tax? Yes or like, will he have to pay, yes or no, and then why? All right, so for this one you need to know that table, correct? So here for the solution you need to write it out like this. Mr. Kulkarni's age is 60 years, this is given. For this category exemption is up to 3 lakhs, right? For that, from the table you can just, you need to memorize few things, so you need to remember this. For this category, the exemption is 3 lakhs. So the income here is more than 3 lakhs. That is, his income is 4 lakh 80,000. It is more than 3 lakhs. That's why he will have to pay tax. So this is the answer. Simple question based on yes or no and why. So yes, he has to pay. And why he has to pay? Because his income is more than 3 lakhs. Okay, that's again, it was an easy question. If this value was less than 3 lakhs, the answer would be no, he won't have to pay. Why? Because his income tax is, sorry, his income is less than that amount, that is 3 lakhs. You need to remember this category. Okay, we move to next question. Question number 6. This is again on financial planning. The ratio of Kumar's monthly income to expenditure is 3 is to 2. How much does he spend in a month if his monthly income is 15,000? Now, this question can be solved using ratio and proportion also. We are given that income to expenditure is 3 is to 2. So it's basically like this: income over expenditure, this is equal to 3 is to 2. 3 is to 2 can be written as fraction 3 upon 2. Okay, now further we are given that his monthly income is 15,000. So income is written on the numerator. We put 15,000 in the numerator. Okay. And we are asked to find how much does he spend? How much does he spend? So we are asked to find his expenditure. That means we put a X in place of expenditure. All right. Easy. We are just setting up the ratio. And now simple cross multiplication will give us the answer, isn't it? Simple cross multiplication. So that will be 3 times x is 3x, which is equal to, we are simply cross multiplying. Okay, students. So 3x equals to 2 times 15,000. This will be 3x equals to 30,000, and x will be equal to how much? 3 is in multiplication over here. That side it would divide. So 30,000 divided by 3, we get x equals to, right, the symbol over here, that will be equals to rupees 15,000. Oh, sorry, that would be 10,000, isn't it? Yes, so that's the answer. Okay, yeah. So we move to next question. Question number 7. This is a question from the last chapter, which is statistics, correct? Very important chapter. Why? Because it's there in class 10th also. Even financial planning is there in class 10th. Then linear equation in two variables is also there. So maximum, most of these chapters are there for 10th standard. Basics are very important. So try to do maximum different styles or different types of question on these chapters. This question says, what is the upper class limit and the lower class limit? So the first number is the lower class limit. The second one is the upper class limit. For this one, the answer is super easy. The upper class limit is equals to the higher value, that is 35. And what is the lower class limit? So the lower class limit is equal to 25. That completes the solution. Okay. We move to next question, question number 8. Now here we are asked to write the range of the data. Okay, what is the formula for range? So range equals to the highest value minus the smallest value. It is the highest value minus the smallest value. Now, how do you get the highest and the smallest? You arrange the data in ascending order or descending order. Okay, but since these are like just 5 numbers, you can straight away just look at the numbers and say that the highest value is 9 and the lowest value here is 1. So 9 minus 1, that will give us the range, which is 8. So the answer is equals to 8. Okay, isn't that easy? The upper class lower class limit, that is the higher and the lower values, and then over here range, that is highest value minus the smallest value. Okay, with that we move to next question, question number 9. Now again, we have done 2 questions each on each of the chapters. We will do few more questions from selected chapters now. So if a upon b equals to 2 upon 3, then find the values of the expression. Okay. So how do we begin? We start with a upon b equals to 2 upon 3, right? Concentrate on the question. Look at the question carefully. It says a cube plus b cube upon b cube. So the degree, that is, we see the highest degree over here is 3. That means we have to cube both the sides. So what are we doing? Cube, or cubing both the sides. Applying cube on both sides, what do we get? So that will be a cube upon b cube, that will be equals to 2 cube upon 3 cube. Okay, so this will be equal to what? A cube upon b cube, that is equal to, yeah, a cube upon b cube, that is equals to 2 cube is 8 and 3 cube is 27. Okay, and next is we need to apply this rule. What is this rule? So that's, we are adding the numerator and denominator, that is numerator plus denominator upon denominator. So this rule is um, componendo, right? So taking componendo or applying componendo, you can just write it like that. So applying componendo, what do we get? That would be a cube plus b cube upon b cube, which is equals to 8 plus 27 upon 27. So simplifying, what do you get? Adding the tops, that would be 7 plus 8 is 15. So that would be 35 upon 27. That's the answer. Okay. We move to next question, question number 10. This question is again from ratio and proportion. What is the question? It says A, B, C are in continued proportion. A and C is given. We have to find B. Okay. So what is the rule for this? Yes, the rule is B squared equals to AC. Fine. We know what is A, we know what is C. We have to find B. So we write B squared as it is. A is 3 multiplied by C, that is 27. We are simply substituting the values. Okay. And what will be the next step? So that will be B squared equals to, now no need to multiply the sides. Why? Because we can factor it, so that we can take square root easily. Or no worries, you can simply multiply. What would that give us? So 3 times 7 is 21, 6, 81. All right. So we get B squared equals to 81. We need to find B. So taking square root on both the sides, correct? So B squared will become B equals to root of 81. What is root of 81? That is 9. That gives us the answer. Okay. When we say they are in continued proportion, that means B squared equals to AC, and then just substitute the values and simplify to get the value of B. Okay, easy, just simple calculations. But what you need to remember is this part, that is B squared minus AC equals to B squared equals to AC. That's continued proportion or geometric mean. Okay. Fine. We move to next question. Write 5 solutions to the equation x plus y equals to 7. Again, this is a open-ended question. Okay, this is a open-ended question. Question number 11. Write 5 solutions. How do we get 5 solutions? Okay. So for this, we select any random value. We can select any random value. for x or y, maybe for x, and then solve for y. So what can you do? You can just use random value of x and get the value for y, or you can do it the other way around. Set any random value for y and then find x. Okay. So you can always put the answer in a very nice format like this: x comma y. Try to make a table. So solution is nothing but it is in the table format, isn't it? So x y and x comma y, that is the solution. These points, they are the solutions. They are actually points which are lying on that given equation. Fine. So we need how many? We need 5 points. So 2, 3 and 4, 5. Okay. And how do we begin? We can start with any random values of x and get the value of y. So this equation is x plus y. Let me just write it in this way. Yes. So x plus y equals to 7. Set any random value of x. So let's say set x equals to 1 or 0, whatever you want. Let's start with 0. So if I put a 0 over here, 0 plus y equals to 7. 0 plus y is same as y. So y equals to 7. That gives us the value of 7, and we need to write it in the solution format, that is x comma y. So 0 comma 7 is the solution. Okay. Next we set any random value for x. Let's say let's take it to be 2. So that would be 2 plus y equals to 7. To move to that side, that will be y equals to 7 minus 2. So y equals to 5. So over here we have got the value of y. We write it in the solution format, 2 comma 5. Okay, isn't that easy? Next, we let us take some other value. Let's say, let us take a negative value this time. Let's say negative 2. Okay. So what happens? Minus 2 plus y equals to 7. This minus 2 would move to that side. It would become positive 2 plus 2. So y equals to 7 plus 2. Y equals to 9. Okay. That gives us the value of y to be 9. And what will be the solution? That will be negative 2 comma 9. Okay, students. So this is a very easy question. You just need to select random values of x or y and find the other value. So let's take another value. Let's say 1. So if x is equals to 1, this equation will be 1 plus y equals to 7. Plus y moves to that side, it will become minus 1. So y equals to 7 minus 1, that is equal to 6. So over here y is 6. What will be the point, students? The point will be 1 comma 6. Okay. Let us take one more value now. So which value of x would you like to take? Let's take a random value. Let's say 5. What happens if we take x equals to 5? So x plus y equals to 7. Instead of x, we are writing 5. So 5 plus y equals to 7. Okay, we have to find y. So shift 5 to that side. That will be y equals to 7 minus 5. So y equals to 2. Okay, that is 5 comma 2. All right. So this is how we find the solutions. Once again, I'll quickly repeat. How do we get the solutions? So select any random values of x and then find the value of y. All right. We move to next question. Question number 12. Now, a few questions from the last chapter, that is statistics. Here we are asked to find mean. How do we find mean? What is the formula for mean? So mean is sum of all observations. We are adding all the observations divided by the number of observations, divided by the number of observations. And what do you mean by observation? These numbers, they are the observations, right? So adding up all of them, that is 87. Now I will give someone the chance to answer. So quickly, everyone, try to add the numbers. Let's see how many of you can tell the correct value. Adding all the numbers, what do you get? Yes. So 87 plus 92 plus 63 plus 78 plus 92 plus 59 plus 72 plus 66 plus 69. Yes. Open question for everyone. Go ahead and try it out. Adding all the numbers, what do you get? and divided by the number of numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 9 numbers, so we are dividing it by 9. Once again, you need to find the sum. 87 plus 92 plus 63, 78 plus 92 plus 59 plus 72 plus 66 and plus 69. Yes, anyone? What is the sum of all these numbers? I'll give you 30 seconds. That's an easy question. Just try it out. Adding all the numbers, what do you get?
Ma'am, 638.
Okay, she says it's 638. 638. Anybody else? Sakshi Tiwari got 638. Rima?
678.
678. Anybody else? Let's check if anybody else gets a different answer. Yes, Nishchay?
678.
678. One more person. Let's confirm with one more person. Shailesh Yadav?
678, teacher.
600 and?
678.
Shabash. So that's 678. That is the answer. Okay. I see so many of you have raised your hands now. But the correct answer is 678. No worries. Sometimes you get it wrong, Sakshi. That's no problem. You can always double check your work to confirm the answer, right? So 678 divided by 9. Now again, try it out, students. This is for you. 678 divided by 9. What do you get? Dividing by 9, what do you get? You will get an answer in decimal points. Yes, Rajeshri Kadam. What did you get? Dividing by 9, what do you get?
75.3.
Great, 75.3. Let us confirm with one more person. Dinkar Tiwari, go ahead and try.
7.333.
Okay, that's 75.333 is say it is same as 75.3. So great. Thank you for answering, students. Just check mean. We are finding the sum of observations divided by the number of observations, and simple calculations will give you 2 marks. Okay. The answer for this is 75.333 or just 75.3. We move to next question, question number 3. Again, a very easy question. I will ask anybody to give the steps. Okay. So question number 13. How do we find median? Yes, anybody wants to try quickly? How do we find median? Sonu Gupta wants to try. Yes, Sonu. How do we find the median? All right, Anis, you can try. Go ahead and try, Anis. Okay. Sakshi Maurya. Quickly unmute yourself and you can speak. Sakshi Maurya.
Yes, miss. First, we will arrange the given data in ascending order, and then we will find the middle number. And if the middle number is 2, then we will find the average of the given number.
Fantastic, that's right. For finding the median, we start with arranging the data in ascending order, and then we find the middle term, that is the median. And in case if there are two central numbers, then what we do, then we find average of those two numbers. Fantastic. Many of the times students make mistake that they forget, they avoid, or they just skip the step of arranging the data in ascending order. So first step, we are arranging the numbers in ascending order. All right, so which is the lowest number here? That's 12. So 12, then 14, then 15, right? Quickly, others try it out. What will be the answer to this? Again, I'll give a chance. Let's see if anybody can tell what is the median, the answer. So over here, that's 17, then 19. You can just simply write out the numbers and keep crossing out the ones which you have already written. So 21, then 26, 26 is there, and then the last number 28, sorry, 27, and then a 28. So we have arranged the data in ascending order, and now we want the middle term. So yes, Dinkar Tiwari, anybody quickly unmute and tell.
Yes, miss, the answer is 19.
The answer is 20.
Fantastic. 20. Yes, anybody else wants to confirm?
19.
Very good. The answer to
19.
this is 19. So many of you are
19.
telling 19. Good. The one who said 20, no worries. You're still learning, no problem. So just check over here on this side. These are 5 terms. On this side, there are 5 terms. The middle number is 19. So what is n here? The question is, see, for first one, we have arranged it in ascending order. So this is the answer to first one, arranging it in ascending order. Then second part, they are asking what is capital N. So just check, capital N is the number of numbers. How many numbers are there? So these are 11 numbers. So N equals to 11. And the final answer, that is what is the median. So here the median is equals to 19. Okay. Yes, so question for everyone again. What is mode? How do we find mode? Who wants to try quickly? Go ahead and try. I am trying to give you access to unmute and speak. Yes, Rajeshri. How do you find
Ascending
mode?
order.
Very good.
Ascending order of data.
And then,
Then we want to do that three numbers are same repeating.
okay. Okay, the maximum repeating, right? So just check everyone. How do we find mode? That was right, Rajeshri. Thank you. So how do we find mode? We arrange the data in ascending order and then find the maximum number or maximum repeating value. Okay. So mode is the maximum repeating value. In this case, what is the maximum repeating value? Even if you don't arrange it, you can always try to answer it directly, but most preferred way is to write it in ascending order, right? So 14 twice, 3 4 times it's repeating. 14, 14, 14, and 14 4 times it's repeating, and then the next highest number is, I guess that should be 17 over here. So 17, then next it is 18. So 18 is repeated twice, thrice, correct? So 18 is repeated thrice. And then the next number is 22, 23. And finally, we see 28 is repeating twice. Okay, so the maximum repeating value, that's 14. So we can say mode is equals to 14 in this case. Okay, don't try to jump steps, students. Always, write out these steps. Even if you write this formula, this is also a good thing, good habit. What is mode? Mode is maximum repeating value or most repeating value. We can say it that way. We move to next question, question number 15. Now, this is an interesting question. Okay, how do we find median? How do we, means the median is given over here. The median is 17.5 and we are asked what is the value of x. Okay, an easy and interesting question. So how do we begin? We just check that already the data is arranged in ascending order, and we see there are two numbers in between, that is x and x plus 1. So as someone said just before that, if there are two numbers, then what we do, we add both of them, we take average, right? So adding both the values, that is x and x plus 1 divided by 2, average of this is the median. In this case, we are given that the median is equal to 17.5, correct? Now we have to simplify this to find the value of x. How do we do that? We start with simplifying the numerator. So numerator is x plus 1 upon 2, that is equals to 17.5. X plus x is how much? That is equal to 2x. So 2x plus 1 upon 2 equals to 17.5. We shift this 2 to the opposite side, so that will be 2x plus 1. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, so that will be 2x plus 1 equals to 17.5 times 2. So that is 2x plus 1 equals to 35. This plus 1 will move to that side, it will become minus 1. So 2x equals to 35 minus 1, that is 34. And finally x equals to what? 2 is in multiplication, it moves to that side, it will be division. So 34 divided by 2, we get x equals to 17. That's how we find the value of x. Okay, and you can just check, 17 and 17 plus 1 is 18. So these two numbers, they lie between the ascending order, right? You can always just cross check if you are getting the numbers in logical order. Fine. So that completes this question. Again, this was a very important question, interesting question, which is seen in um, class 10th also. Fine. Let us move to next question. Again, this is a very important question from 9th and 10th, both standards. Okay. Now for this one, we are first asked to find x plus y for a and then x minus y for a itself. Okay, so I want anybody from you to try this out. X 4x plus 3y equals to 24 and 3x plus 4y is equals to 25. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. I want to find x plus y. How can we find x plus y? So the first part we are solving to find x plus y. What should be the operation? Shehzadi. Yes, please try. I'm giving chance to those who have not got chance. So yes, Sanu.
Ma'am, first of all, we are same the first of all we are multiply the uh, four four we are multiply the first equation by 4 and second equation by 3.
Okay, so what will happen?
So
You will
then
get
the
12y and 12y over here.
um yes ma'am, 12 by 12 then cancel it, then get the negative sign. The answer is ma'am becoming 3.
Okay, that is nice try. Let us see if anybody else wants to say something. Shehzadi Sheikh. Thank you, Sanu. Next, Rajashri, if you want, you can try. Anis. Yes, Anis. Quickly, we want to find x plus y.
First of all, we multiply by first equation by 3 and second equation by 4.
Okay, so first equation by 3 and second equation by 2. What will that give us? This will become 9y, this will become 8y. Okay, so this would be like complex. Yes, anybody else wants to try? Thank you for trying, Anis.
Yes, miss. First, we will multiply first equation by minus 1 and then we will get the 3y as minus and then we will find 4 minus 3. We will add the given equation and we will get x plus y is equal to 1.
minus 1.
1.
Minus 1 we will get.
Nahi, 24 we will get minus 24, then bigger number sign will come, then
Right. All right. Great. Wonderful. Thank you for trying. Both of you. Your name is Sakshi. Okay. Let's look at the solution now. Thank you for trying, everyone. Just check. This is a very simple question. No need to get into multiplying the equations by some number or something like that. Just look at the coefficients. What are the coefficients? We want x plus y. That is, we have to simply add the equations. All right. Just check. The trick is, or rule over here is, if you see 4 in the place of with x and 4 with y, and also if you see that the coefficient of x and coefficient of y is matching like that, you can straight away add the two equations. Okay, no need to do anything. You simply add, simply add. So adding equation 1 and 2, what do you get? You're simply adding the equation, students. So 4x plus 3x, that is 7x, plus 3y plus 4y, that is equals to 7y, equals to, adding both of them, what do you get? That will be 49. Just look at the magic. What are we doing? We are simply adding both the equations. And now we want x plus y, so we have to get rid of this 7. So dividing both the sides or all the terms by 7, what do we get? So what is the next step? Simply divide both the sides by, dividing both the sides by 7. What do we get? We are dividing all of them by 7. Okay, that gives us the answer in 2 steps, that is x plus y equals to 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, so this is the answer for this part. What is x plus y? Likewise, we have to find x minus y. Okay, now again you need to concentrate or look at the numbers. The what do you say, just a minute, I'll write it out over here itself. And yes, we continue with the equations again over here. So equation 1 and 2, we want x minus y this time. So how can we get x minus y? We want a negative y. That means we will multiply the equation with the greater number by negative 1. Okay, so what will happen? This 4y will become minus 4y, and we know 3y minus 4y will give us a negative 1, right? So what are we doing? We are multiplying equation 2 with negative 1. Okay, so simply 1 or 2 steps. This is not for solving x and y. We are not solving x and y. We are directly trying to get what is x minus y. Okay, students. So what are we doing? Multiply equation 2 by minus 1. So that will be minus 3x minus 4y equals to minus 25. And then what are we doing? Multiply equation 2 by minus 1, and then adding, what are we adding? Adding equation 1 and 3. Adding equation 1 and 3. So what is 1? 1 is 4x plus 3y equals to 24. And what is this? Is the third equation. Multiplying equation 2 by minus 1, we get equation 3. And adding both of them, what do you get? So just check adding, what do we get? 4x minus 3x is x, minus 4y plus 3y is minus y. This is equals to a negative 1. So I suppose you were earlier telling the answer to be negative 1. Maybe you were trying to solve for x minus y. So try to understand, when it is addition, when you're asked to add, simply adding the equations and dividing by the common factor will give us the value of x plus 5. Like here we got x plus y. Okay, the common factor was 7 in all the terms, so we divided the equation by 7. And for the second one, to get the negative y, we are multiplying the correct, what should I say, the correct coefficient or the correct equation by negative sign. Okay, let us look at a similar problem, that is part B. Now let us look at part B. Just a minute. Yes. So part B, the equation 1 is 7x minus 5y equals to minus 9. This is equation 1. And then 5x minus 7y equals to negative 15. This is equation 2. Okay. What are we supposed to find? First thing we need is x plus y. Okay. So how do you get x plus y? Just check x plus y. So if you see, if we straight away, if we add, what will happen? We will get a negative sign over here. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's quickly add and check what do we get. So what are we doing here? Adding equations 1 and 2. Adding equations 1 and 2, that will be 7 plus 5x, that is 12x, minus 5 minus 7, that is minus 12y, equals to adding both of them, that will be negative 24. Okay, and now check, we have the common factor to be 12, so dividing both the sides by 12, what do we get? So that will be 12 divided by 12 is x, 12 divided by 12 is y over here, but 12 and 12 gets crossed out, equals to 12 divided by 24 divided by 12, that will be a negative 2. So this is the second part, we have got x minus y. Okay, so we have got x minus y equals to negative 2. Now we have done addition, what happens if we subtract? Okay, so let's check what happens if we subtract. Now you need to understand which equation would you subtract. So if we subtract minus 5y minus of minus 7y, that will become a positive. Okay, so it should be actually equation 2 minus equation 1. All right, then what will happen, or simply let's just try it out what happens, let's see. Yes, so subtracting the equations, equation 1 minus 2, what do we get? So that would be 7x minus 5y equals to minus 9, and 5x minus 7y equals to negative 15. What are we going to do? We are subtracting, so changing the signs, a very important step, students. You need to change the sign, so this will be negative, this will become positive, and this will become positive, right? So 7 minus 5, that will give us 2x, this is positive 7, so 7 minus 5, that will give us plus 2y, that is equals to, now simplify this part, this will be 6, again that is positive. Okay, notice we have got 2x plus 2y, that is we have got the value for x plus y, but we have 2 over there, that means we will divide both the sides by 2, correct? The common factor is 2 over here, so dividing all the terms by 2, what do we get? X plus y equals to 3, that completes the solution. Okay, so we have got x minus y equals to 2, and x minus y equals to negative 2, and x plus y equals to 3. So basically, what is the trick, or what is the logic here? You need to see that the x terms are repeating like this, the y coefficients are repeating like this, the coefficient of x is seen over here, and the coefficient of y is like same over here. In this case, whenever you're asked to find x plus y and x minus y, either you need to add both of them or you need to subtract both of them. This is the only thing. You don't need to find x and y. This is just a two-step problem, okay? A two-step problem, that's all. And we have few more questions, but you can take down these questions as homework. So quickly take a screenshot of this. You can try out these questions as homework. And there's another, these two questions. Okay, so that's all for today, students, and thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed today's class. See you in the next class with question number 3a for mathematics part 2. This will be done on Thursday same time, so do join. Thank you for joining today, everyone, and have a nice day. Bye.